The tactical map. This hallmark feature of Company of Heroes allowed a game that was so zoomed into the action and tactics of small arms combat to also give players clarity of the wider situation, control of their whole army, and better navigation of the full map. Company of Heroes 2 also offered a tactical map. This game, however, whilst giving better usability features in that there were more keyboard commands available in the tactical map, it was a definitive step back in terms of artwork and graphical design. The tactical map has been a very important feature of the competitive side of the game. Here we see the best Company of Heroes 2 player, Isilda, an engineer in real life who basically brought the game down to its fundamental control elements and built a gameplay style that was nearly unbeatable, is a heavy tactical map user. You can also see here that the modern day best player in Company of Heroes 1, BK Mod Test, is an avid user of tactical map, using it to control his army. It's very clear that the best players use tactical map. And that is why when I was in London playing Company of Heroes 3, which will be released, by the way, on the 19th of December, the full game against Vulcan HD Gaming, I, of course, brought with me a hotkey script that gave me very easy keyboard control of tactical map. Don't worry, keyboard commands will be in the final game, so will tactical map, and I'm pretty sure what you're about to see is a placeholder. But if I go to around 7 minutes in this game, I can guarantee you I'm pretty much about to use tactical map. There we go. Because I was told by Isilda 2 years ago saying, listen, buddy, if you even want to be better than a scrub, you need to start using tactical map, it'll make you better. And I agreed. It's now allowed me to play Company of Heroes 1 vs 1 for fun. I don't sweat as much, I don't struggle as much, and it's all thanks to tactical map. It's such an important feature. And that's why this placeholder is definitely probably thus. We've all seen just how much the user interface has improved. And now it's our job as a community to give feedback on what we want to see in the tactical map. I will be showing this game. I know you guys really want to see this gameplay footage. Don't worry, Relic have given me permission for the full replay to be uploaded in around 20 days' time. So you get to see that then. But for now, just take into account the tactical map. We will now be going, however, to an overview of what Company of Heroes 1 did well, Company of Heroes 2 did well, and what we want to see from Company of Heroes 3. So say goodbye to awesome footage from CoH3 for now, and let's go over to some images. Wow, that's fun. And also, let's go over to Microsoft Excel. We all love Microsoft Excel, don't we? Yes, we do. Everybody nod. Good stuff, good stuff. So, let's talk about Company of Heroes 1. What did it do well? I just want you to feast your eyes on this, and then I'm going to tell you what it did well. So, firstly, it's so much clearer and clean. I don't even think that's subjective. If you disagree, I can recommend you a good opticians. Just tell me your country of residence. But I just objectively think that compared to Company of Heroes 2, it's clearer and cleaner. I think that's fair enough, isn't it? Sorry, there's CoH3 for you. Another tease. The next point, it's larger. That's right. It's larger. The actual use. Let me get my cursor out. Here we go. Going anti-clockwise, you can see the area there. Going back to CoH1, you can see more area of the thing you actually want to see, which I definitively think is what's called a good thing. Next, it shows terrain features. Right, you can see the trees there, the bushes are clearly defined, because guess what? It actually looks like a military map from the Second World War. Neat, eh? And that's just awesome if you think about it. Go to Company of Heroes 2, and there is no such thing. There is these wishy-washy things that could be rivers. They're actually roads, by the way, but you cannot actually definitively see the huge hedgerow that goes down the centre of Longra Skya here. Go back to Longra from CoH1, you can see that feature. Next on my very awesome Excel sheet, we also have it clearly shows buildings. I'm not going to keep flashing up the screen. You just need to know that it does. Better shading and graphics, that kind of is point one, but it's actually the terrain over on the overall map. So it's kind of, these 3 points are kind of together. And then we've got this bit here. It clearly shows territory sectors. I am going to have to bring the map up for that. You see this wireframe here? That was missing in CoH2. Well, no, actually, I'm sorry. It is kind of there. Squint, everybody, squint. You see that dark grey outline? Well, it was a lighter grey, and when you controlled it, it became a light blue, and your opponent's was a light red. And that is so much better than this, which is not as usable and as good. Don't know why I went high-pitched there, but I did. Bad things about CoH1. It's missing most commands, that's right. Most of all, it's kind of like every move is a tac move for some reason, and you pretty much can't do anything else. You have to select your unit, then go out of tactical map, then do the thing you want to do. And there's command differences to the main screen. Basically, you can't move the unit. You can only attack move it. Bit weird. Let's go to CoH2. The best thing it has, more commands are available. You can retreat in tac map, for example. You can't do everything, though. You can't repair, and I'll come on to that's a con, actually. Let's stay positive. Let's stay positive. It clearly shows territory icons. So let's go to CoH2 here. You can see the territory icons, the fuel +7. It's a little bit more clear. Actually, is it? Debatable. Debatable. I mean, the darker, they have what's called a drop shadow. I mean, it's kind of a draw in that aspect. I do like CoH1s, but I think CoH2s are better. Especially the standard territory points are a little bit not as obvious in that regard. Going back to my amazing spreadsheet, let's go to the cons, and there's more of them. I am a CoH2 fan, I just don't like the tap map as much. Smaller area used, we've done that one. The unit icons overlap in team games. I haven't got a good picture of this, but I know a lot of you play team games, and it becomes a mess. All the unit icons end up overlapping. You can't sort anything from anything, and to be honest, the TAC map is more synonymous with 1v1 and 2v2 as a result. You don't get many 4v4 players using TAC map as much, because quite frankly, it's not as usable. Next point, it's still missing some vital commands. I nearly went on to this earlier. You can't reinforce in the CoH2 TAC map. So if to bring up Silda's gameplay here, you'll ever notice if this guy needs to reinforce when one of these squads is back in base, he has to select it. There we go, he selected, you see that? He selected the penal, then he went off TAC map, then he reinforced. So I actually chose this at random. I didn't actually do my homework, I just picked in a Silda stream, and I went to the last VOD. It happened to say 1v1, and it's exactly what we needed. Let's pause that so it's not playing in the background. And let's go to our next point here. Darker background. That's a con. And I'm going to be coming on to this. I want you to remember that point. But basically, it's about your eyes getting fatigue. Next point. A huge step back in terms of art. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Now, how do I make my CoH3 analysis easier? Well, first of all, let's just keep in mind that this is likely a placeholder. There's likely a lot of work to be done here. The TAC map isn't something they've showcased yet. It was involved in the preview event I attended, and they said I could use any footage from in the game, except for some cutscenes. So, yeah, this is clearly the TAC map, but it's not finished yet. And we know how far the UI came, so we're here to give constructive feedback to help them improve it. So how do they do that? Well, first of all the pros of both previous games. So we want to clean. So let's go through this. We want a clean, large TAC map that shows terrain features, shows buildings with the good shading and graphics of CoH1 style, and clearly shows territory sectors. We want, I'll come on to this, but we want at least most of all the commands available for CoH2 and clearly show territory icons. Next, We don't want any of the cons of previous games. We can't have any commands missing. There can't be command differences between the two screens in how you interact with the game. It needs to have a large area used. We've already covered that. The unit icons should not overlap, which I'm already worried that they're going to overlap by the looks of things. Not good. And I'll come on to this in a second. And I don't know why I do a fake laugh these days, but I've started. I need to break out of that habit. Next, all commands to be usable. I've covered it, but that's kind of obvious, and I need it there because that's what we need for CoH3. Clearly show units whilst inside garrisons. Let me tell you a story about a man called Isildur. This guy made a mistake against Nagano in the World Championships once. Despite having incredible preservation throughout the game, he left a unit inside a garrison. And now if you know CoH3 Tac map or the mini-map, inside a garrison, the unit icon shrinks, and it just shows the garrison with a small icon on it. I don't even see my cursor there. The garrisons in CoH3 Tac map are little shaded squares. But anyway, it shows a square with a garrison button. And that is why Isildur lost a squad in a CoH2 grand final of a World Championship event. So if he can do it, anybody can do it. So that's why we clearly show units inside garrisons in CoH3, let's hope. New. Blurred game as background. What could I possibly mean by that? Well, that's what I'm going on to next. This is my concept for Company of Heroes 3. If we have all of this, I also want a new way of looking at the TAC map without hurting your eyes. There is something in life called the strobing effect. That is when you go from black to white, black, white, black, white, black, and you get eye fatigue. It's not pleasant. Watching a top-level Company of Heroes player on Twitch, people always complain about how unpleasant it is to see them, in their words, spamming TAC map. Well, there is a solution, and I'm here to show you what that solution is. If you add a blurred background instead of an opaque black background, instead of it looking like this, as it currently looks in Company of Heroes 2, you could instead have it look like this. I'll let your eyes adjust because it is new. How less distracting and jarring is it to go from that to this? You just blur the background and the minimap, the usable area of the minimap you actually want to see, gets bigger. I'm just going to pause that for prosperity's sake. I think that, and I'm not so sure about the actual blurring I've done. I've been messing around with Photoshop. There are better blur filters, don't get me wrong. This one's a little bit squinty. But I think that is an obvious win and a huge step forward for the tactical map. Again, in Company of Heroes 3 is looking likely to have an opaque background, so you will have that strobing effect. And I'm saying it doesn't have to be that way. I think it would look more professional, and it would help the players, and it would such an easy win. So I'm really hoping Relic watch this video, just like they did with the UI feedback video I made. And my next call to arms is for you, the fans, to put your feedback in the comment section of this YouTube video. We actually did a really good job with the UI feedback we did, and I headed up our team effort, let's say, and I don't need to. I've had this confirmed by Relic themselves, so I don't feel like I'm being egotistical to say that. It's just a matter of fact, and I don't mind being the voice of the community's feedback, but importantly, it's your voice that matters most, because without your voice, my voice certainly doesn't matter. If I'm wrong, I need to be told. And if I'm right, I need the weight of your opinion to make sure Relic kind of understand how important this is to us, if that makes any sense. If there's any features that I've missed on this, please, please, please add to it. I will save this Excel sheet down. Maybe we can add more of what we like from CoH1, what we like from CoH2, and what we need to see in CoH3. There has been some feedback that's come from top players such as Jibber, Jabber, Jobber and Orange Pest. I did manage to get hold of them today to ask them a few questions, and they had a few more technical nuances, but I've hoped to capture the main points in this feedback session. So thanks for watching this. I'm going to upload this on the 1st of November, that's tomorrow, and I'm looking forward already to seeing what you have to say. And I'm really proud of the tournament I'm running at the moment, the Diversity Cup, which the finals will be this coming weekend. So if you happen to watch this video, please stick around to see that. And then also stick around for the 19th of December when I upload my full game of CoH3 versus Vulcan HD Gaming. I've been AE, and thank you for watching.